Hey everybody, Greg Pruitt here with Idaho Dispatch, and I am here today with Representative Tammy Nichols.
Hi.
And we are down at the Capitol. It is June 23rd, 2020. And I guess, in your own words, what went on today? What was the goal today? How do you feel it went?
Okay. Yeah, so we had two options that we were looking at, and they were both dependent on the number of legislators that showed up, because one was going to be a concurrent resolution,
Okay.
and that would have been between both the House and the Senate, but we had to have a quorum to be able to conduct that sort of business.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we did not, but that's why we had Plan B in place. And so Plan B was a proclamation that was written, and that was read in the, so we took the House floor, we went onto the House floor, but we pulled all of our chairs into the center because we weren't official. And so we weren't officially conducting business, but we took all of our chairs into the center, and we had about 18 legislators that were there, but about 15 that were on the floor.
Yeah, that's what I counted. So
Okay.
15.
And so Representative Barbieri, he was the one that worked in conjunction with a few other legislators on the proclamation, and so he read that. And then we just opened it up. We had like the pledge and the prayer and all that sort of stuff like we normally would.
Yeah.
And then after he got done reading the proclamation, it was opened up to whoever on the floor wanted to speak. And so I think every single legislator took a turn speaking, and a lot of the issues that were covered that they addressed in what they said, I don't think really anyone had anything prepared as far as what to say. It was all from the heart for the most part. But we covered different topics such as freedom and liberty and the balance of government and what's happening in our current situation and how the legislature has been deemed non-essential.
Yeah.
And so, and what are we looking at going forward? The people that we represent, how they're not being given a voice because we're not there to be able to represent them, and how we've asked the governor to please call us back into session. There's so many issues that are taking place right now. I mean, the job of the legislature primarily in the Constitution is just to appropriate money and balance the budget. That's really all we have to do. And there's a lot of money that's at hand right now that's being utilized and spent with no legislative authority or approval or anything. And we find that very concerning, because that's not how government was set up, and it's not the way all things that transpire in the governmental process should not be given to one branch of the government. And that's kind of what we're seeing. And so our purpose was to come together, whoever wanted to join from the legislature, and represent our people, and to let them know that we are trying to do something, because that's what we keep hearing is, well, the legislature's not doing anything, they don't care, whatever the case may be, but that's not the case. Most of us talked about how we've been talking with our constituents in our area because they're losing their jobs, or not making any money, they can't get their unemployment, they have all these different issues that are transpiring, and we don't know what to do anymore because our hands have been tied. And so we felt it was good for us to meet today to be able to express those things, because there's been this false narrative that the legislature is just going along with whatever the governor wants to do, and that we agree with everything that he's doing, and that's just not the case. I mean, we understand he's in a tough position, and this is unprecedented, but we should really be included in this process. And so we really wanted just to make sure that people knew that we are listening to them, that we do hear them, that we do not feel we're not in agreement with everything that's transpiring, and that we're there to represent them, to do our job. We took an oath, and that is part of our oath, is to represent our constituents.
Okay, so what do you, there's been a lot of debate about it's a special session, it's not one, you guys can do a special session, you can't do one, and so there have been some other legislators that have said, this is not a special session, the Constitution's very clear that you can't call it. So was what transpired today a special session? Was it just a meeting? And what is your response potentially to those?
So today was just a meeting of the legislature, and we sent out a press release yesterday, and that's what we titled it. It was just a meeting of the legislature.
Okay.
Again, it would have gone back to if we had a quorum to be able to actually officially conduct business, which we didn't. And so, yes, it was just a meeting of the legislature. And after we got done on the House floor, then we went to a conference room and met and discussed where do we go from here. So
okay, because I assume that once the proclamation is signed by everybody that wants to sign it, you're going to send it to the governor. What is your feeling on, is the governor going to look at that proclamation and say, okay, let's go back into special session, or do you think he's going to not do that?
Well, I would say based on what he has currently done, that it would take more than a proclamation to get him to actually call us into session. I mean, we've asked him on the phone, we've written letters, emails, people have called asking for him to bring us into a special session, and to no avail so far. So I don't have a lot of high hopes that just a proclamation to him is going to motivate him enough to want to do that. I think it might take some more measures than just the proclamation.
Okay, and I asked Representative Zito this earlier. You know, is one of your goals to, when session officially begins in January, the regular legislative session, to make sure that this doesn't happen again, to where you guys can, under certain emergency powers, call yourselves back in and make sure that you can be a part of the decision-making process? Is that part of what you
Absolutely. That's absolutely what we need to do, because this is not how things should have transpired whatsoever. Again, it goes back to, there's 3 separate and distinct branches of government, and they are to balance things, and it's not one branch to make all the decisions and all the determinations. And there are some issues that we have with some of the constitutionality with things that the governor has done. And so we'll have to look into all of that and see. But yes, we want to make sure that what we have gone through never happens again.
Okay. Now, and then finally, I guess some people have said, well, why don't you just go to court, take it to court, and, if you believe what the governor has done is unconstitutional, why don't you just take it to court? I mean, what is your response to that?
My response to that is that, that is an option. I mean, that definitely is an option, but court costs money, and we're not going to have any support from, I don't think, our leadership to be able to utilize what they have available to them to do that. And so, that's something that has been thrown around as an idea, and we definitely can look into that, but it is going to take money, and it's going to have to be done through those that are supporting that effort.
Okay. All right. Well, anything else that you want to say to your constituents or to the people of Idaho in closing?
Absolutely. Just know that we are here to support you, and we are listening. We are trying to do what we can. Our hands are pretty well tied, but we are learning from this, and we'll make the changes that are necessary so that we don't do this again, because we know that people are not non-essential. The legislature is not non-essential, and we want Idaho to prosper and move forward in a positive manner, regardless of what type of virus or catastrophe or anything else comes to play. We want to be able to make sure that we can still function, and that it's constitutional.
All right. Sounds good. Well, we appreciate your time.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.